Cool. So I believe we are live. Let's just give it a try. I believe we are live. Yep. Excellent. So welcome everybody who is joining us live. We are live. Yep. Excellent. So welcome everybody who is joining us live. We are live. So I am getting myself ready. So what's great about this current chapter in my life is that I have just built my new website, which is the one you see right now. So Dojo XO is a teaching and coaching concept that I'm bringing to the relationship and intimacy and dating space. And the idea is that I'm here to help people have actual results when it comes to dating, relationships, intimacy, and sex, meaning whatever you're struggling with in that department, and it can be very interesting stuff, and it's all very common, and that's the other thing. I'll give you an example of some of the things that I work with, right? So typical would be women who are perhaps quite successful. They've got a career, they've got money, and they just can't seem to attract the kind of man that they desire and deserve. Um, and so we've got men, for example, who are struggling. They don't have much to offer as far as they feel in terms of like monetary support or because what can you give a woman who's got more money than you, for example? Maybe they have low self-esteem and they're not very confident around women. They don't know what to do, so they keep doing things that just create problems and drama, and they end up just saying, I'm going to stay single. I'm not going to even bother. And or they just end up with someone they don't want to be with, and it becomes really weird. Sometimes they end up falling pregnant when they don't plan to, and then all of a sudden you have a family you didn't expect, and it's not easy. And all of a sudden it's not working very well. Sometimes things grow from there into a beautiful, beautiful um, relationship, and that's great as well. So there's just so many ways that life happens for people, and so this project is all about being able to really help people become very confident in the space and be successful. That's the idea. So I'm really excited for that. What I want to do now is I want to see if I can get the comments up so that I can see who's joining us and if there are any comments happening.
które możemy też bardzo prosto.
Okay, so give me a second. We're going to hang out today. We're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about dating. We're going to talk about all sorts of fun stuff. And we're going to just make sure that people can hear us. But it should be fine because I was testing it earlier. I'm just making sure I can see the comments. I think that's very important because we want to chat, we want to interact, I want to answer questions and take it from there. Okay. Yes, it says I'm live. Fantastic. Yes, it's very cool. Yes, I can see the chats. Fantastic. So I'm just going to make sure it's working. Welcome to the launch of Dojo XO. Sweet. Looks like we're in business. Okay, so Let me tell you guys a bit about what to expect and tell you a little bit about myself because I think that's very important. So, my name is Ryan. I am also known as the Soul Mechanic, and I am a holistic dating, relationship, and intimacy coach. And so you can think of me like a personal trainer, right, for love and relationships. Like that's my whole take. I want people to be able to come to the gym and walk out feeling different because they've actually had something change physically. They've done the work. They've stretched muscles they didn't know they had. They've not just learned about stuff that they were trying to figure out, but they feel different because they see different, they think differently. Like that's kind of the work I do. It's transformational work in the unconscious realm. So that's why I'm saying the muscles are relationship muscles, they're inside muscles, they're thoughts, they are actions, they are beliefs, right? And another example I'll give you is when it comes to what people are struggling with today, right? You've got a lot of singles who are swiping on apps, being ghosted a lot of the time. They're second guessing what they want, who they are, with their own values. So those are the things that you imagine with someone who keeps trying to get someone to be in a relationship with them, and they keep getting ghosted, and then they realize what it is, and then they work on those muscles, and then all of a sudden they're not getting ghosted anymore, and now they're really in relationships with people who want them. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Like when you change, the world changes with you. So I really love this kind of work. We've got a few other things that you know tend to happen. Like women are tired of waiting for men to step up, as I realized, as I mentioned earlier. We've got men who are stuck overthinking, right? Stuck here instead of actually connecting. And that happens in bed a lot as well in the intimacy realm, where there's a lot of thinking. Am I doing it right? Or how is she has she orgasmed yet? Like, ooh, and there are a lot of things, and sometimes that even leads to very low performance, right? So men can't even sort of bring the body into the present, and then they have like erectile dysfunction, and there's all sorts of things that happen. So I work with the software to help those situations, so the body can show up in a way that is more resourced, and powerful. And so you've got what else do you have? Couples, right? In couples, well, a lot of times you find that they feel like maybe they're drifting apart when they should be actually leveling up together and actually getting closer over time. And then you get certain things like, again, the weirdest thing is happening where so many people want something, relationships, but they can't have it or they can't get it, but they see where they can get it from all the time. So it's kind of like going to the restaurant and you can smell this amazing Thai food and you can see everybody being served and you just can't order. Like you just can't get a plate for yourself. And it's just this weird life we live in, right? So I'm looking forward to being able to help people with these very, 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 very interesting topics. So let's just look at some of the comments. Yes, awesome. It's working. Good to hear. Thank you, Poland, for checking in. And I am going to check that my comments are here as well. Yes, awesome. Awesome. So, why did I create the Dojo XO? Right? This is where we combine theory, as I was saying, it's about knowing what's going wrong and what needs to happen, and then combining that with embodiment, which means it's not just theory anymore. It's something that you live. It's something that you do. It's something that you understand on a body level. That's what this is about. That's why the element of dojo, gym, physicality is in there. And physicality, I mean like you in your body are experiencing what we're talking about, right? So it's not just learning why things break down, but also practicing the emotional and relational muscles that make you magnetic in love and in life. So I think it's pretty cool. So we'll talk more about the project as we go. But now what I'd like to do is talk about what today's about. Today's about celebrating the launch and coming together and just talking about what it is that this project is here to do. We've done that now. And it's also a fundraiser, by the way, because every business needs startup capital, and the startup capital has been me. So it's time for me to start putting time into the marketing because I've been building all of this. So now it's time to get to some marketing and clients in and fundraise. so that I can actually cover the cost of the business, which just basically means my operational costs, which aren't very high, which is good. So we're trying to get the target is €3,000 over the next week. The sooner the better, because I've got to actually, move house and stuff on Wednesday. So let's see how we go. And so you guys are very welcome. And I love the fact that you're here on ground zero, like you're at the level where this is beginning. And I think it's super exciting. We're going to work on so many different angles with regards to explaining what's going on in the relationship world. I've got so many different ways to help you understand it, and exercises and events. We're going to be doing dinner parties where I coach live, so many cool things happening. Okay, so I'll keep you posted on the fundraising as we go. And so, what can you do? You can, when you're watching this, even if you're watching it later, please DM in the chat, let us know you're here, and obviously let us know your experiences and what you are seeing in the world around you when it comes to relationships and intimacy. And you can also DM me on my Attraction Playhouse project profile or on my Ryan Korea one, and if you'd like to donate, there's a donation link so we can keep the money going. Because I know some people may feel like they don't need relationship coaching. So you can always like support. And if you do, by the way, you will be put into a draw to win a few prizes. So some of them will be a free um, coaching session. And if you win that and you don't want to use it, you can always gift it to somebody else, which will make you like the hero of the week. That's for sure. So check that out in the description of this video as well. And so I think it'd be really cool to just start off by explaining to you how I work and why I use that approach and why I think it's the most important building block when it comes to relationships. Right. So I'm talking about attraction. It's even in the name, right? An attraction to me is the most important thing, because if you're an attractive person, you literally attract things to you. You don't have to work that hard to convince anyone to want to be in your life, right? And that's because you naturally embody this radiance. And it's not something that you're putting on as a mask. It's not something that you're doing as a performance. It's who you are. Because if you get good at being who you are and showcasing yourself in a way that it attracts a partner, that will be the right partner as long as you are also being good at choosing. Because some people will attract partners very easily, but they may not be there for valid reasons, and so you may find yourself going through the same patterns, right? So it works both ways. And so if you are in attraction levels that are what I call high attraction, then that's also a game changer. And this is amazing, right? Think about this. When you meet people, people are always going to be playing with your energy, as in they'll be responding to your energy. They'll be like, yeah, neutral. Some will be attracted to you. Some will be repelled by you, which is normal, because if you're attracting someone, you have to, by default, be repelling. It's just how it works. And that's the concept I want to start with, because I think that once you understand that, it's going to be so useful for you to understand how the world of attraction works. So let's start with that, right? So attraction is all about polarity, and polarity is the idea of having two polar opposites, right? So think of it like, I like to say you've got magnets, right? The magnets, like a horseshoe magnet, right? You have a horseshoe magnet and there is a North Pole. Let's go a North Pole and a South Pole, right? So North Pole and South Pole are opposing elements. They have opposing polarity, right? So if you take North and South, they actually attract the opposite. So if I take a magnet and I bring it here and they get really drawn together, that's because north is attracting south on this one, and south is attracting north on this one. This is how polarity works. This is how energy and how attraction works, right? So when we look at it from that perspective, it becomes so much easier. Really, it really does. Like today, I had a session with a client, right? And we talked about that because the first session with a new client, and she wants to find a partner, and she's been struggling with that. And she's at an age in her life where she's like running out of time when it comes to biology. And she's like, why do I keep running around in these circles? And I can go in quite easily, like almost like an electrician, and go, okay, tell me about your life, and I can tell what's happening with her signal, with her attraction, with her energy. And energy is actually, we call them like emotions, right? Are energy in motion. So your emotions are also part of your energetic signature. And where do they all come from? They're attached to your thoughts. So your beliefs, how you think, what you say, what you do creates energy. So that is the level I'm playing at, and I love working in this unconscious, metaphysical, sort of quantum mechanical sort of way of being. Because now it doesn't really matter what you identify as or what your beliefs are in terms of what you think is possible or isn't possible, what you think is real or what isn't real. That doesn't matter because we're playing in a spectrum where every single person who's alive is a part of that, right? We all have the same sun that we feel every day. We all have the same moon that we see in the sky. We all have the same earth we're on, and they have very, very specific energies that they're playing with. So I think that is super awesome to get geeky in that space so that you don't have to worry about going to go and study all of that for ages and go, how does it work? I'm just going to simplify it for you. And to the point where just in one session like today, you can understand, you can walk away and go, oh, so that's what's going on, and that's what I've been doing, and that's what I need to change, and this is how I change. Like going to the gym to work on my biceps. Okay, that's what I needed to do. I didn't know I needed to do that because I was working on my legs this whole time. I didn't realize the biceps weren't that strong. I just thought that they worked normally, you know. So that's kind of the idea, which is pretty awesome. So what we're going to do as well today, we're going to watch some cool clips. I've got some clips that I've asked some people what they watch, right? When it comes to TV and reality shows, when it comes to dating relationships. So I've got a couple of shows I haven't watched them before. So I'm going to watch the trailer and I'm going to see what's going on there. And then I'm going to give you a live commentary as a relationship coach as to my take as to what's going on. So I think that'll be pretty fun. And we're going to answer questions as well. I asked people to send me questions, and I've got some questions which I think quite a few people grapple with. One of them, for example, is women trying to sort of figure out how to get to their male partners to go, they're 1 foot out the door, they're about to leave, or they want to leave, or they can't leave for various reasons, but they're going, what do I do about this? Because this is not working and my partner's not open to any change. He doesn't think he's the problem. And I'm kind of stuck and we fight all the time and it's a toxic environment. Like that's a very common problem. So we're going to address that today. And if you know someone or if you're in that kind of situation, then hopefully we can help you today with a little bit of understanding that'll help you even identify the next small step forwards in the right direction. Right. So the other thing that's important to mention about today is that if you feel that you would like to jump straight in and get some relationship coaching, then feel free to DM me and get in touch. So there's an email address in the comments in the description, or go to the website, or you can DM me if we're connected on social media. And you can book a session with me, and then we can get you started straight away. And there are also going to be special discounts, which is pretty awesome. So this week we are doing a discount until midnight tomorrow, Monday, for people who are watching this live stream, because that's how you will figure out that there's a discount. So use that to your advantage. And if you book something before the end of Monday, you will get a pretty good deal. So very, very excited about that. Okay, let's rock and roll, people. Let's see. I think it'll be good to start with watching one of these shows that someone has sent me. And before I'll do that, no, actually, let's do that first because I've kind of done a bit of talking now. And rather than answer a question, because we'll eventually get to the point where there are more people joining our live streams. This is literally stream number one, and I'll probably do one every month to bring some value to the community. So let's see how it all goes. But for now, I'm going to watch this trailer of, let's see which one. So there's one called Married at First Sight. I don't know if you've ever watched that. I haven't watched that. And there's another one called 90 Day Fiance. So I'm going to try that one. 90 Day Fiance sounds interesting. So I'm like, so one sounds like Married at First Sight tells me that people are meeting each other for the first time, and they are getting, I guess they're meeting each other at their wedding. I guess that's what's happening, right? Oh, it's not a very long trailer, apparently. Oh, it's a teaser trailer. Okay, let's see. Let's see what we got.
Marriage to me means everything.
I'm really ready to find the one.
Married at First Sight UK on E4, coming soon.
Okay, so
It's the October.
that's interesting because I'm going to look for another one. So the guy said marriage is everything to him, but he's marrying someone he hasn't met before. That doesn't sound like a very smart move for someone who thinks marriage is okay. Let's see. Um, 1 year ago, 1 minute. Trailer reveals 4 new couples, twists and turns and tantrums. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually watch this one that's 1 minute long and then get a feel for the show. See what's going on.
Hendo's unleashed, tantrums, temptations, and tears on camera. For the first time ever, MAFS UK is capturing every wild moment of the hen and stag parties. And this season promises more drama than ever before. Get ready for first glances and first dances, the fairy tales and forever afters. But not everything goes to plan. Who believes the whole purpose in life is to be loved, to brides who've been waiting for this moment their entire life. We'll see grooms serenading bemused brides, couples facing obstacles just days after exchanging vows, and the explosive aftermath when relationship rules are broken. MAFS experts Mel, Paul, and Charlene return to guide our couples through the chaos. Catch all the drama, Sunday to Wednesday, starting September 21st. This is one social experiment you won't want to miss.
Okay. So, social experiments, marrying people who don't know each other. I'm gonna watch this old one. It's like from quite a few years ago. So I'm trying to get a feel for the show. You know what I mean? Like so far, there's a lot of like very short snippets, but I want to try and see if I can watch something actually happening, some interactions, so that I can give you some of my thoughts. So let's see. Season 4 trailer. 6 strangers. Okay. Creative.
I am getting married to a stranger. No.
Today.
So you don't know this woman at all?
Never even seen her before.
What?
I'm nervous. I'm getting shaky.
Everything is rushing at me and I just feel overwhelmed.
I am getting married to a stranger.
I have no idea what she looks like.
I feel very nervous, but I am tired of being single and I would really love to share my life with someone.
I can't believe you're going into this blind.
This is not dating. This is not just chilling out.
It just seems a little untraditional.
This is a legally binding marriage.
This is too much. It's too intense. Oh my God.
A part of me wants to run the other way because this is like very real right now and it's my life.
You don't have to go through with it, you know.
Okay, so from what I'm gathering, these are real weddings. It's like a reality TV show, so it's not like they're acting, it's really happening. So people have agreed to get married to someone they don't know, and clearly the producers of the show are like orchestrating the marriages, and like they're the ones matchmaking. Um, and so I guess okay, it's for TV, it's for ratings, and it's not necessarily realistic. And there are cultures obviously that arranged marriages and have done so historically, and they do that for different reasons, I'm sure, not for entertainment. Um, but I'm just very interested in going a little deeper with this. Actually, yeah, I'm intrigued. I think I'm going to follow this a little more because I would like to use this show as a way of having a teaching moment because I think it's a social experiment is pretty cool, right? It's like, okay, let's just throw people together and get married. Let's see what happens, right? Will there be success stories? I wonder because people are trying so hard to find the right partner and date, and then they get ghosted after date number one or date number one. They don't even arrive and don't pitch up. And those are statistics, by the way. A lot of guys, in particular, are being ghosted on the first date. Like she doesn't even show up. So there are all these things, and I coach that as well to be like, how do you avoid and minimize that from happening? And if it does happen, what to do about it, right? What do you do about texting? When do you text? Like who pays on the first date for the dinner? Like all that stuff, we cover all of it. So you guys bring your questions in and let me know what you would like me to cover because it's pretty interesting. Let's see what they're saying.
I want this so badly. I'm willing to take the risk.
I am so ready to meet my husband.
I want this day to be perfect. Let's do this.
I take you, Lillian, to be my wedded wife from this day forward.
I promise to honor and care for you in good times
For
and
better,
in bad.
for worse, for rich or for poor.
I promise to always be there for you. Be faithful to
I vow to give you my hand, to give you my heart.
By the authority bestowed upon me, I proudly pronounce you.
Okay, so what I think is interesting about this is that I'm already picking up a few things that I think are worth mentioning that you're going to find useful in your situation. Okay, so these people seem to have the same pain point, right? They seem to have the same issue, and that is that they're desperate. They really want a partner. They really want to get married. And so my first question would be in that ballpark of like saying, if you're desperate and you're really would get to the point where you're going to do something very drastic to get what you want, you've already kind of lost the battle, right? Because what you want is when you get married to someone, you don't want someone who is desperate, because then you get things like, I think some of the problems that will show up, right? Insecurity, paranoia, anxiety, attachment issues. And now, if you have two people, both kind of on the spectrum of this neediness, desire, anxiety, whatever else may be underneath, then the question I have is, are you going to cancel each other out and be a good match and then learn how to figure your stuff out together? My guess is probably not, unless they've got good coaching, which I'm assuming they're going to have on this show. So that's one of the things I would say to you is like, if you are in a space where you feel desperate and you feel like you will do almost anything, my advice to you is use that energy wisely and use it to look at what's going on inside of you. And I say it all the time, relationship work is an inside job. Whatever's going on in your relationship, whatever you're struggling with, look in the other direction. Don't look that way, look this way. So in this case, if you're going into something pretty blind and already even giving someone else agency over you, right? You've given someone else the power to match you, to marry you. That to me is already like we use the word red flag. It's like you don't want to be in that situation, to be honest. I guess they're making money doing this too. So that might be motivation, right? They'd be like, hey, people's logic, right? They're like, hey, okay, look at it this way. I make some money. I go and I meet someone, I get married, and if it works out, that's a great start to my marriage because I'm not doing well on my own. So let's go for it. And I make, fantastic. In the worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, then I guess I'll get divorced and have a good story to tell one day. You know what I mean? Like It's like what's going on in the person's mind that I'm interested in. I'm like, what's going on underneath the covers, you know? So that's what I would say about this. Wow, okay, that was interesting. That was interesting. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at some of the questions we've got here at the Attraction Playhouse. Oh, yeah, yeah. Um, let's see. Which one would be a good one to start with? Okay, this is a good one. Why do men struggle to approach women without seeming awkward or pushy? Hmm. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. I'm going to read that again. So, why do men struggle to approach women without seeming awkward or pushy? Okay, I think that's very true. I think it's definitely a struggle. So now, where I'm seeing this, I think there are two struggles that are very, Adam, sort of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Identifiable and happening today. And that is there's the struggle of men approaching women, right? But they feel awkward or pushy. And then the other struggle is that men are not approaching women. And the weird thing is, women may be able to tell that the guy's interested, right? But he never approaches. He's being awkward from afar. So he's not even approaching. I think that's a bigger problem to talk about. So let's break this down. Let's break this down. First of all, I like to go and break it down into polarity, which we mentioned before, right? So let's look at this men and women. That's a polarity for me. Men are expected to play a certain role when it comes to relationships. Women are expected to play a certain role when it comes to relationships. And in this case, we're talking about men struggling to approach women. So that's expected, but it doesn't mean that's how it should be. That's the fun part. Women can actually approach men too, but they would do it in a feminine way. And that brings us to a very big sort of dichotomy when it comes to what I work in. So it's like polarity is not just about men and women, it's about feminine and masculine. And so the difference between the two is feminine and masculine, I look at them as energies. So feminine energy and masculine energy are two energies that live within every human being. Whether you're a man or woman, it doesn't matter. You have masculine energy and you have feminine energy. And the best way to look at that is think of it like literally electricity, right? You've got current that you get when you you plug something into the wall, like your toaster, you get electricity and it turns it into a very hot appliance that toasts your bread, right? That's electricity. Same thing in relationships. They get hot, they get steamy, they get very sort of full of passion, right? People love the word passion. They're like all these relationships are so passionate. Think of it as electricity slash energy. Okay. Now it gets more interesting because we're talking about electromagnetic energy. So not just electricity, but magnetism, which we talked about earlier. Remember, north and south. They're north and south, sorry. So they are both happening at the same time inside everybody. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what you think of yourself. You have these polarity systems working inside of you. So now back to our situation, right? Men and women. Men expecting to be masculine and have masculine energy, which is all about approaching, about taking action, about being, I'm going to say the word confident, right? Confidence is attractive, very attractive. It's one of the most key things in attraction. So that's masculine energy. Then you have feminine energy. Feminine energy is more about being receptive. It's more about having waves and let's put it this way. You have AC and DC current, right? Electricity again. So DC means direct current. It means electricity moves from point A to point B in a direct line, right? That's masculine energy. It's like, boom, that girl's interesting. I think she's cool. I'm going to go over and say hi. That's like one directional action, masculine, right? Feminine energy is like AC, which is alternating current, right? And as the word and as the name sort of talks, alternating means it doesn't go in one direction, it goes in two directions. So it's doing that very quickly in a matter of seconds, right? That being said, it can also look like a wave, like a sine wave, right? That is feminine energy. Feminine energy is like emotion, it's like vulnerability, it's like movement, it's like the weather. Like that is energy. Again, men and women both have these inside of them. So we can now surmise that a lot of men are not able to tap into their masculine energy and be direct and be confident as much, right? And that brings them into this state of doubt and not being honest about their intentions. That's where awkwardness comes in. That's where it feels a bit weird, right? And on the other side of this, we're talking about without seeming awkward or pushy. So pushy is when there's too much of the masculine energy, where it's like, whoa, what is happening right now? I'm not even interested in you. I didn't give you any signals. And I'm trying to say no, thank you, but you're not listening and you keep getting up in my grill, right? That is the other side of it. So the question is, why do men struggle with this? And my answer is that they don't have a well integrated system within themselves. So their energies are not balanced. That's literally why I work with this stuff because it answers most of the problems. What I mean by that is imagine a guy who has masculine energy and feminine energy, which means he has no problem walking up to somebody and introducing himself and saying, hey, I wanted to come and say hello. Have we met, by the way? Who are you? Aren't you, they'll find a nice, easy way to start a conversation in a natural manner that doesn't feel awkward, doesn't feel pushy, right? They need that energy, but they also need their feminine energy. And their feminine energy is equating to emotional intelligence, being aware how to read a room, knowing how to read a room, right? And essentially being able to speak feminine by having a connection with their feminine energy, because now they're speaking what I call woman energy, right? Feminine. And if they can do that, then they can understand what it may be like for a woman. And that's where a lot of men struggle, is because they have no idea what it's like to be a woman and to what a woman experiences. So that's why you get a lot of men saying, I will never understand women. Like they get so frustrated, like, oh, I will never understand women because they keep having these issues that keep playing out that they go, I don't understand. I tried this, you told me that, and then when I did the thing you said, but you got pissed off. But last time I did it, you were happy. I cannot keep up with you. That's the problem. Unplugged from the AC, unplugged from the alternating current. You're running on DC probably, and you're not understanding the AC needs to be plugged in so that they work together, right? So I hope that makes sense. When you hear me speak about all these, by the way, if you get any aha moments or this helps you make sense of something, then let me know in the comments. Definitely DM me because I'm going to be making a lot of content that's going to be addressing these issues and explain it in a way that it doesn't matter what kind of human being you are and what your experiences are. You should be able to understand and go, oh, I know how to use that for me. Because I think that's where a lot of coaching and a lot of the internet can be very confusing, right? People are trying to tell you, do this. If you're a man, this is what you should do. If you're a woman, this is what you should do. This is what you should. This is if a man doesn't do what he says, then he's not a man. There are always very big ultimatums. And what I am trying to do is say, everybody's so different and everyone has their own inner truths that I'm trying to help you understand what that is and to show up in that energy a lot more confidently. Because when you show up in a way that's different to another man, it doesn't mean you're right and he's wrong or the other way around. It just means that if it's your truth, it will be very powerful. People will feel it and they will be drawn to you. And it will be the right people who will be drawn to you because they'll just sense that you're just like, oh, I know who I am. I know my internal currents, my internal electronics and magnetisms. And so I just attract by just being me. And that is the work that I do. That is the Attraction Playhouse. So I thought it was good to start with that question because it's so rudimentary and so basic in the formulas of what I do that I'm going to talk about it a lot from different angles, as I said. So I think that's pretty awesome to start talking about it now and getting into the stories. Okay, so next up, let's watch another show that I think, yeah, okay, so this one's 3 minutes long. It's called 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, trailer 2025. So yeah, I'm not so sure what this one's about, but as I said, like by the titles, I can sort of get an idea that this is about 3 months engaged, and then what? Like, I guess maybe the TV show has a format where after 3 months they get married. Like, I don't know, but let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, before we watch this trailer, I just want to make sure that I have covered everything that's important. So what we're going to do as well after this is we're going to show you the Dojo XO and explain a bit about what it does, how we're going to work, and tell you a bit about the group sessions that we're going to be running that will help people with, I think, the most important skill that one should have when it comes to dating and relationships. Even if you've been married for decades, that one skill, I think, is something that helps you keep your marriage alive. And I mean, like, healthily alive, being attracted to each other, having a very healthy sex life, and just being happy and content and not fighting and miserable, which I think a lot of people end up being, and they just get stuck and they have to stay together. So these are the skills and the tools that we're going to talk about and really bring to the table. So I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, let's watch this, shall we?
I'm gonna eat a big peach today. You're a peach.
Oh, geez.
Now that we are parents, intimacy, it's not the same.
Like at least once per day, I'm like,
He will ask.
but nothing happened.
I see my husband. This is Adnan's first time in the U.S., baby. I don't know how easy it will be for him to adapt.
Okay, hang on. Let's talk about that for a second, shall we? That was a very strong beginning, right? And this guy, right? Yeah, look at that. Look at him. He's very, and by the way, this is a great example of what we see in society. So this guy, he's not like this big macho, over masculinized guy physically, right? But you can see how confident he is. He's like such a I'm a cool dude guy. He's like got this weird flirting that is very overt, like we said, pushy earlier. I would say he sounds like he's a bit too much, and he might be compensating as well for something. But like this is literally what I was talking about. That skill that I was talking about, where we're helping people, whether they're single or dating, is flirting. Guys, you have to understand, flirting is the secret to it all. Like, if there's one skill that you as a person can work on right now that's going to be giving you great dividends for the rest of your life, it's flirting. Like, problem solved, literally. Like, you've just aced the exam because that is the alphabet that you're going to use to spell out the rest of your life. Like, in when it comes to relationships, intimacy, and even when it comes to your everyday life, your professional life, because flirting is an energy, right? Again, I'm going to talk about it for days and days. Energy, it's all about energy. Flirting is an energy, and when done correctly, it's a feel good energy. It brings excitement, right? It brings desire, it brings curiosity, it brings fun. That's what flirting done correctly should do. This guy thinks he's flirting, right? He's definitely trying, but it's turning his partner off. You can see it. Like, and I love watching body language. Like, so it's not as obvious here, but if you look at her body language, like she's kind of slightly leaning away from him, and her head is towards him. So what's so cool about this is body language is so complex that everybody's different. So you can't read just one thing. You have to read a whole bunch of clues. So I would say, for example, here as a theory, right, to go, oh, because of what they're talking about, and you can tell the energy, right? It's like, I'm not so sure. So her body language is closed, right? If you think about it, like she's literally blocking her crotch right now, okay? She's kind of away from him, like leaning away from him, and she's leaning towards him. So you might think, oh, that means she likes him. But actually, I believe in this case, she's literally protecting her neck. Because when someone's attracted to you and they feel safe around you, they actually open their energy. They open their body. They're kind of inviting you. As I was saying earlier about feminine energy. Feminine energy receives, but she has to be ready to receive you. She needs to be like, oh, I really want you right now. And so if you do it correctly as a man, you don't have to ask for intimacy. She's going to be trying to get it from you all the time. Like, guys, quote me on this, okay? This is why I love this work. So, something else about her, right? As I said, like, so the neck, if she was open, her neck would be probably open as well. Because you see how vulnerable that is. Like, that's almost like an invitation. Like, he could just like come and kiss her on the neck. And like, when you're intimate and stuff, that's what happens, right? Like, you can sort of like find all these beautiful spots on a woman's body that just make her explode. And they're not always on the crotch, guys. There's so many other areas that we can talk about. So that's what I love about this. So let's look at his body language, right? Very masculine. His legs are open. Look at his hands. There it is, right? That whole phallic symbol is like, boom, like I'm the man, right? He's like, look at me penetrating the world. And even his body language, like you can see, he's kind of like, meh, like he's got this kind of relaxed feel about him. And by the way, guys, I'm not a trained, qualified professional body reader like this, these CSI guys or whatever. I just, as I said, I've loved this topic for many years and I've studied so much of it that I just use it in my work as a tool. That's all. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm not saying that it's that simple because it's not. You have to understand and look and read deeper, which is why trained professionals, they need to investigate. So they'll watch someone's body language and they'll get a signal and say, I wonder what that means. And they'll get something, they'll say something to test that theory. And then what that person says gives them, whether it's a confirmation or not, they'll look for a baseline to say, okay, where does this person normally, because you might just be, I sit like this all the time. This is how I work, right? So you can't read too much into the body language, but it's interesting, especially when you're in a restaurant or you're out at a party and you like somebody. Their body is telling you a lot more than you think. Words are literally less than 10% of the story. So we're going to cover a lot on this topic. And it's just so, so interesting. Okay, so I want to, I just want to watch the body language again. I'm going to start from the beginning, and I'm just going to be paying attention to the body language. Let's see what's going on here.
I'm gonna eat a big peach today. You're a
Okay, so do you see how, if you look at his hands, what his hands
I'm
are
gonna
doing?
eat a big peach today. You're a peach.
So you see like he was rubbing his like hand, all that stuff means stuff. So you can be like, okay, what does it mean? Was he like going, oh yeah, I'm getting excited? Or was it maybe a sign of nervousness? So he might be nervous there, for example, and he might be like, oh, because I think he's performing, right? He's like, oh, I'm going to be macho. He's trying to compensate for something with what I feel, which is why it's not really working.
Now that we are
Plus, he's on TV, so people know how to bring a performance, right, to the show.
parents, intimacy, it's not the same.
Like at least once per day.
Okay, even her eyes. Look at where she's looking. She's just kind of like roll. They're almost like in roll, like they're like frozen roll. Like roll your eyes and freeze. So it's interesting.
I'm like,
He will ask.
but nothing happened.
Eyes. You see, she's like she looked literally away from him, and now she's looking. But she's like looking. She's not making eye contact. You can just feel the energy. She's like she doesn't want to look at him. Which, by the way, is another thing. If someone's attracted to you, they would, especially women, she will look at you. She will try and make eye contact a lot and try and catch your gaze. And another thing men struggle with is confidence when it comes to looking back at a woman's eyes. Like if you can hold a gaze as long as she can, and she's interested in you, that's a great sign. If you do it too long and she's not interested in you or she doesn't know you, that can be threatening. So it's so powerful that you've got to be careful how you're using it.
I see my husband. This is Adnan's first time in the US, baby. I don't know how easy it will be for him to adapt.
So weird. It's the first time I see like this weather. I'm so scared now.
So I'm going to talk about that for a second. Again, I'm just reading face value, okay? I'm not because I don't know the story. I don't know what's going on, but like he sounds like obviously he's from, Europe. He's moved to, I guess, America. And as soon as he said, "Oh, I've never seen this kind of weather," it tells us that he's probably from a sunny country, somewhere more sort of warm or whatever it may be. And then he said, "I'm scared right now." And did you see how his lady responded, right? And I'm reading into micro things here, but like he's just moved to another country. They're clearly about to have a baby, and he's just said, "I'm scared." That's not what a biologically pregnant woman is going to want to hear from the guy who's supposed to be looking out for her when she's literally on her back about to give a baby, deliver a baby, and she won't be able to do much after the baby arrives. So there's a lot of evolutionary biology at play when women are trying to select partners. And safety is it's all about safety and providing and how do I find a partner who's going to have my back through all the seasons of my body changing and us growing, right? So it's very important. So I just want to see again, look at her reaction when he says, "I'm scared."
I'm so scared now.
It's like it's kind of like a nervous kind of laugh.
For my
Like,
beautiful
oh,
wife.
dear.
George and I have this big trip planned to go to Bulgaria. We're going to be meeting Georgie's family together for the very first time.
I don't know what my parents are gonna think if you're wearing something like that.
I've been heartbroken, but I don't want to feel this way anymore.
What's it gonna take to get you naked?
Probably some whiskey. So I am finally exploring my side of the open marriage.
Open marriage.
Oh, dad number 2 is here.
I still love Gino, but when he kicked me out of the house, I didn't have any other choice but living with Matt, who is a third person in an open marriage.
Where is my coffee? Bad American service. Hurry up.
Okay, so I'm seeing here that there's an open marriage, and the other guy said he's exploring his side. So he's married to a woman, but she's already seeing someone else, and now he's playing the field in a sense of also going to, have dalliances with other women or a single other woman. I don't know. Because open marriage, so when we're talking about non-monogamous relationships, there are so many different variations and so many different rules that people adopt and agreements that they sort of co-sign off on. And there's just so many things. So I just wanted to mention that because that's the dynamic in whatever's going on here.
Hey, Joey, you better help us?
How you want me to help you? That's me, Yara, and Mila in Miami, and no support. Hey, I let myself in. Hello.
I definitely need best friends or something like that.
Who's that loudmouth over here? Hey.
Jovi's a mama's boy. That's what I think.
The way Andre talks to people is inappropriate.
Straight up rude and disrespectful. What crime? I'm explaining them also I have an issue in myself. Hopefully, my parents, they don't think the worst. I don't want you crying.
Let me feel, please.
Okay. That's a good example. Very important topic, right? So we've got, forgive me for not knowing these people's names and remembering them. So he's taken this lady to meet his parents, and already you see that he was nervous about that, about, oh, I don't know what my parents are going to think about you, which already made her kind of like, wow, really? How would you say that to me? Of course, in all honesty, we look at her and visually you can see that I'm like, oh, there's all sorts of possible issues going on. Like the way she looks does not look natural whatsoever. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't judge in my work at all. As I said, I'm human to human. I think everybody is here on a journey, but we can tell so much from what we see. And I'm just curious about why are you the way you are, not just how you look, but your behavior and so on. So I think that's important. Like the less you can judge, the better. Like if you found yourself going, oh my God, look at her, then I would encourage you to kind of slow down and be like, hey, how about if we just forget about what that reaction and that knee-jerk reaction is, and let's just be curious and learn about people and understand their journeys before we put some kind of stamp on them, because there's a human being underneath that body that's going to get old and wither like we all will. So that's where I come from. Then, more importantly, she's crying at the dinner table, and he's even like kind of going, "Hey, why are you crying?" Like, so again, very typical and a very normal dynamic in relationships where she's vulnerable, and obviously she wouldn't like to be crying in front of her partner's parents, but she is, and there's a reason for that. And whatever the reason is, I would guess that he's part of it. But even if that's the case, he should have her back and try what he can to make her feel supported and allow her to feel what she's feeling, which she literally just said. So important. So important. Like women, as I said, right? There's this thing going on, the wave. So women are like the weather, and the weather can change and it can rain, it can storm. You can't be someone who keeps saying stop being the weather, because the weather is a natural phenomenon. And the best part is when you allow the weather to run its cycles, then you actually have a lot more sunshine. That's the great part. And I promise you on that. Like when you allow emotions to just come through, then they pass. And then you get to a place where you can have a lot more positive emotions. And when the more negative or difficult emotions come, you let them be. And they're welcome too, because when they're welcome, they come less often. It's like really like rewind that if you need to. This is big stuff. It's big stuff. We get so deep on the crying thing. Like allowing a woman to cry is like your job as a man, if that makes sense. Especially if you're not the one abusing her and making her cry. That's not good. Like if you, it's because you're beating her. That's like let's right now, okay? But I'm talking about you're a nice guy. You're trying to do the best for your partner, but she still cries. Don't feel attacked or judged. Like let her feel her emotions and actually support her and say, thank you for being vulnerable enough to cry in front of me. I got you. What do you need right now? Do you want a foot rub? Do you want some space? Do you want some silence? Like if you need to ask, it's okay to ask. But sometimes all you need to do is just say it's okay. Whatever, and let her cry. Because she'll try and stop it for this reason. She'll try and go, I need to stop it. If it's necessary, what I would do in this case is I would actually excuse you know, her and him from the table. I'd be like, hey, mom and dad, could you just give us a moment? I'm really sorry, but maybe we'll be a half an hour or so, but can we just, and then go and have a private moment and just have a chat and then see what she needs. Maybe she's not going to come back to the table and she's going to need to finish her dinner later and be there with her. Or she wants to be alone, then you can just let her be alone and you're going to have dinner with your parents. Whatever it is, you need to be able to be high EQ enough to understand what's needed in the moment, which is not always the same thing, which is why men go, but I did this last week. Now, you don't want it because last week is not now, right? You can't live in the past when it comes to being in the present. What I mean by that is presence is the gift of relationship. Be with me now. What is the weather now? And what is needed now is not usually the same as what was needed 4 hours ago or 4 weeks ago. Huge. This is big, guys. So with that being said, I want you to really think about that as a guy. That's your secret. And that's what I coach. And I allow men to be very connected and aware in this way. And when you do, you will not believe what kind of relationship is possible and what kind of connection is possible with your woman. Like it's mind blowing what happens when they feel so safe, so understood, so heard. You unlock parts of your woman and versions of her that she hasn't seen before, and you have never seen before. And it becomes this whole new level. And that's why I say the relationships can evolve together, even if they got married and they didn't know each other. If they evolve together, get closer together, and become amazing co pilots, they will fly high. It'll be incredible. So, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So let's continue watching this trailer.
Lauren and I have been speaking for 5 years. And she said a lot of bad things about you.
I don't know what
How you talk about her weight.
Yes.
And how you body shame her.
Okay, that's it. We are leaving.
Wait, guys, what the are you fighting about?
You were cheating on me with Matt 4 months before I agreed to open marriage.
Excuse me? I never cheated on Gino. This woman put ideas in his mind. I'm dying to meet this bitch.
Why are we bringing the horse from Vegas?
You should watch your mouth.
Close to me. Don't get
Don't touch her.
She's a whore!
Okay. This one's more high drama. That's for sure. That's for sure. Okay. So interesting. As I said, I haven't watched these before, but someone sent them to me because they said that they enjoy these shows. So this one has a whole cluster. So these are all open relationship people, right? So